Hey, what's up, guys? Tuna here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a little something different. I'm going to start a new series where I evaluate all of the rares and mythic rares in Dragon's Maze. I'm going to go over their value and then what my opinion of their projected value will be. And yeah, I'm going to call this series the card advantage, just so people will understand what the future value of cards will be, or what, in my opinion, it will be. So in this video, I'm just going to go over all of the white, Selesnya, and Orzhov rares. So let's get started. So our first rare is Renounce the Guilds. Um, we have it. So right now the current price, all these prices are via Star City Games, which is sort of the gold standard for referring to prices. So right now it's $2. I think this will go down mainly because this will see no play in standard. It just doesn't do anything in standard. I think it might see some very, very small play in modern, and that's only to combat Geist of St. Trap decks, since it's a way of getting rid of Geist of St. Trap, which is hard to do. But I think there are better ways to do that. Like just any sort of wrath effects are just better than this. And this is just so limited in its purpose. It doesn't do anything besides get rid of Geist. So it might see play, but if it will be, it'll be a sideboard like 2 of or something. I just don't think there's a very good feature for this card. So I think it'll go down. It'll probably be like $1 after like a year or so. All right, and then our next rare we have is Sign of Vitu. Currently, this guy sits at 150. Again, I think this guy will go down, not that much, though. It'll probably be like $1 eventually. For some reason, they added this effect on the card where you can't like trigger him off of Restoration Angel or like any blink effects. Like you only get his effect when you cast him from your hand. So I don't know why they need to do that. I don't think it's like overpowered either way. But even with the fact that it won't be that good, it definitely won't see play in standard because of what I said. You can't abuse it with like Restoration Angel and then with Advent of the Worm. There's like some synergy there maybe, but it's 5 mana for a 4/4, so there's really not too much there. It's very similar to Cloud Gut Rangers, so that was maybe what they were thinking when they did that. But I just don't think this guy is powerful enough for standard, and it's definitely not powerful enough for any of the older formats. So yeah, this guy will probably end up being like $1. So I'll probably stay where he is, or just go down a bit. But I don't think there's much of a future for this guy. Then next we have the aforementioned Advent of the Worm. So this is a very interesting card. It's currently sits at $8. I think it'll go down, but not too much. I think this guy will definitely see standard play. You could draw similarities to Loxodon Smiter, which currently sits at $4, which I think this guy will probably see like similar play to Loxodon Smiter, maybe a little less, but it's sort of a little bit different in that it could eat a guy. So you can like ambush an attacker, and then you have a giant 5/5 body. But the thing with Smiter is that it can't be countered, so it's just really good against control decks. There's the big body that they have to deal with. But yeah, I think this guy is pretty similar to Smiter, so he'll definitely see some play. But I think it'll even out around between like $4 and $6, somewhere around there. So yeah, it's really good against aggressive decks since you could like ambush one of their small attackers, but then you just have a big body that's bigger than all of their attackers. So I think this guy's good, but he definitely, I don't think he'll stay around 8, but I could be wrong. Then next we have the infamous Amara Tandris. So this card got tons and tons and tons of hate, just because people were expecting, I guess, something really good from this card. I don't know, I didn't really expect too much, but she doesn't really do anything. She's a 5/7 for 7, and if you just take away any of her abilities, that's basically a quote-unquote legend, where it's just very vanilla, doesn't do anything, unimpressive. And then you put her ability in, she's really not that like impressive with the ability because it doesn't make the tokens indestructible. It just prevents damage. So there's still ways of like getting rid of the tokens. Like I don't know, this card just doesn't do anything to me. It like could see play as like a casual card, but even then, like there's just so much hater on this card. I don't think anyone's gonna play her. And if they are gonna play her, they're just gonna play her despite all the hate, just to show people how not good she is, or how good she is, and despite all the hate. But I think that she's pretty bad. And next we have Ready and Willing. This is a card I think is pretty underrated right now. It's at 150, and I don't think people are seeing it for standard, but I think it could definitely be played in standard. This card's very flexible. It could be play like you could play both halves of it in a deck, or you could just play one half or the other half, and all of those options are very good. Um, making your creature indestructible and untapping all of them. This is a great way to surprise like a Naya Blitz deck. You surprise them, basically wipe their board, and then also the other half is getting lifelink and death touch is a way just to turn on a race. You're just racing someone and you just play that, the race just completely changes in your favor. And then you play, heavens forbid, you play both halves, then it's ridiculous. 6 mana is a lot, but it has a ridiculous effect on the game. But this guy's only like 150 right now. I think he'll go up like a little bit, maybe like $3 or $4. This will definitely see play, I think, on a sideboard somewhere. But yeah, I think this guy is very flexible and underrated right now. Alright, next we got Voice of Resurgence, and man, this guy is hyped. This is currently the most expensive card in the set, $40. I currently don't understand why. People think it's like the best hate mirror of all time, so let's just break it down for a bit. It's a 2/2 for 2, and whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, or if it dies, you get a trigger where you put a elemental creature token into play, and this token's power toughness equals the number of creatures you control. So at worst, it's a 1/1 if you have no other creatures, and then at best, it's probably like you're playing in some sort of like aggressive blitz deck, like a 3/3 or a 4/4, maybe a 5/5. But this guy, I just don't think he's $40. He's definitely a good card. Like I think he'll see like definitely see play in standard, but I don't think he'll see enough play to make him $40 worth. Um, he's really bad against wrath effects because they just wrath you and you get a 1/1. It's like okay, who cares? And then the only good side about this I see is that it forces your opponent not to play instants, or it just influences them not to play instants like during your turn, which is sort of good, but then they just kill it during their turn, and it's okay. Like you get another like probably like a 2/2 or a 3/3 back, which is like decent value. It's a value card, so it's always like it's very similar to Thragtusk in that you just get a guy back. It's just always value, but Thragtusk gains you life. So it's sort of both ends of the spectrum there. This guy is not good with Restoration Angel, whereas Thragtusk is. And Thragtusk at its height was like what, like $20. So I think this guy will maybe end up around like 10 or 15 max. And then like people were saying we'll see play like Modern or Legacy. Heaven forbid, I severely doubt that. But in Modern, I don't think it'll be that good since it's only the ability only happens when he dies. So if you exile him with Path to Exile or you balance him, it just does nothing. It's just a tempo loss and just doesn't do anything. So I think this guy is it's a good card, but it's being severely overrated right now. Um, the token you get afterward only depends on the amount of creatures you have, so you have to play him in a creature-heavy deck, which is one bad thing right there. Like it's not a very flexible card. You can't play him in a plethora of decks. You can only like abuse him in decks that have lots of creatures. So if you're not playing lots of creatures, more than likely only getting a 1/1 or a 2/2 back, which is still value, but it's not that much value. Like it's a good card, but I think it's being overrated right now. So let's move on to the next card. We have Pontiff of Blight. So this is mainly just a limited and casual card. Currently 50 cents. It'll probably stay about that. It's a pretty fun card in cash. Like if you're playing a casual game, build a deck around it. You have like a bunch of little like 1/1s and 2/2s. You play this guy, and then the rest of the game you can like extort for 4 and just kill him like just off the bat. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna go lower than 50 cents. It's pretty low for a rare as it is. This guy's definitely not going to see any constructed play, but I think it's just a very fun card. Then next we got Blood Baron of Vizkopa. This guy seems very good to me, but I don't think it's worth $15 in the long run. He has protection from black and white, which is a good like protection from most of the removal in standard right now. And his second ability, in my opinion, is fairly relevant since that won't happen very often, and then when those two conditions do happen, you're more than likely going to win anyway. And giving it flying, like if your opponent's at less than 10 life, more than likely this guy is getting in, which means they're playing black and white, so it's just getting in. So the flying doesn't really do anything, and the +6/+6 is just an extra, like, okay, I'm going to win anyway. It's a win more card, basically, if the second effect happens. But when it comes down to it, it's a 4/4 for 5, which isn't great. It's a 4/4 for 5 with evasion ish and protection